Good morning. Oh, hello, friends. This is coming to you in a little different format because I had so much work to do. I was not even going to try to do audio. So I'm just going to be talking to you through this one. My name is Nisi. I live in Zone 7B in Maryland. And my goal today is to do quite a few things in the yard, but one of the major things is that I'm going to go ahead and move the hydrangea that I was telling you about that I got on clearance from Lowe's. It was a $7 purchase because it was in pretty bad shape. At this time of year, the hydrangea's lost most of its leaves, so I can go ahead and plant it in the front yard. Additionally, the temperature is starting to drop, so we were in the 100s for a couple of weeks, and now it's back down to the 80s. And actually, as of the time I'm recording this, we're down into the 70s. So I just put my electric lawnmower together and I'm taking it around to the front. So I've mentioned before that I live in a townhome community. So this is the process that I have to do every single time I want to mow my lawn. And because I've gotten rid of all of the grass in my backyard, you can see it's just rocks and the deck. I have to do this to mow my lawn pretty much every week during the summer. So here's me taking the lawnmower out. I have to walk down a hill, and I have Dante with me, trying to keep him from going crazy. But yeah, down a hill, and you can see there's my boy. And then we have to go back up a hill so that I can go around to the front of my house to mow the lawn. So I'm a middle unit, which means it's a lot more work for me to get from the backyard to the front yard so I can go ahead and mow the lawn. And my goal is always yard domination. So that's what I was doing here. You've seen my front lawn before, and it's truly a yard by yard by yard, in my personal opinion. It might be a little bit bigger than that, but I'm just turning on my electric lawnmower and mowing this front section. I That little section that I'm mowing right now is actually not mine, it's my neighbor's, but because it's connected to mine, I just go ahead and take care of their grass too. Fun fact, I had absolutely no idea how to mow a lawn when I first purchased this townhome. So I had to call friends and family to find out how. And a lot of YouTube videos, which has now become my guilty pleasure, watching people mow lawns and do weed whacking and things like that. So, fortunately for you, I am not going to spend this entire video showing you how I mow my lawn. But this is just a snippet, and I usually mow high, especially as hot as it's been. But my understanding is if you mow the grass high, it retains moisture better. So the highest setting that I have on this electric mower is 5 inches. So that's what I do. And I believe I mentioned in a prior video, but just in case I can't remember, the type of grass I have is considered cool season grass. So it's turf type tall fescue as well as Kentucky bluegrass. So when it's super, super hot, it slows down. It's not growing as much. So that's when it'll start to brown out. So I don't have to mow quite as much in the heat of the summer. But now, as it's gotten cooler, the grass has started to grow again. So I'm just taking it down to keep it looking nice. This little bush is actually on the neighbor's property. So we're just going to take some clippings to it. And I mentioned that before when I moved my loropetalum that I was going to cut it down. So here I've started to dig up the area. I don't know if you can tell that yellow piece right up close to the front is the tape measure. So I wanted to measure off from the front bump out of my house about 4 feet, because this hydrangea that I got is supposed to get 4 feet high by 4 feet wide. You never know, because a happy plant does what it wants, but I came out actually a little more than 4 feet, but definitely 4 feet wide. And I'm having to dig up this area of the grass so that I can move my hostas out. And so I think I had mentioned that before. My goal with this hydrangea, it's called a summer bloom or something like that. But it's supposed to have these really pretty blooms all summer. It's supposed to continuously bloom. It's pretty much done for the season, and it was in bad shape. So I had it under my deck, rehabbing and getting watered and such. And now I'm ready to go ahead and move it to the front as it's gotten cooler. And I'm going to move my hydrangeas out because I want them to be a drift around. I want to move my hostas out because I want them to be a drift around the hydrangea. So I need to dig those up. And that's what I'm doing here. Just digging up the hostas so that I can move them in a circular area. And then I'll be planting the hydrangea 2 feet from the front of my house and allowing for 2 feet of space on either side. So here's the hydrangea. It's called Endless Summer, excuse me. But this is supposed to put off continuous blooms. And I watch Garden Answer. I don't know if any of you do, but I am one with Aaron, planted high, it won't die. So my goal is to dig down a little bit. Definitely going to put the Biotone starter fertilizer in to help it along and root it in. But I will be planting this high and then mounding it up with compost and humus after it's planted. So here you can see I'm just placing the hydrangeas. I had to dig them up from their spaces. Hydrangeas will be dying back pretty soon. But before I just had the lawn drift. So again, I have like a kind of red green theme from when I did the video where I planted my dwarf flora petalum in the front yard. You could see that right in front of it was the gardenia, so I needed to move the gardenia up. And then next to that is a heuchera. So that's the reddish foliage you can see towards the left of the screen. And then I had a drift of hydrangeas, and then another heuchera, a gardenia, and then in the back, a hydrangea. So now I'm just digging down to move these, and I actually gave them a little biotone starter fertilizer. They'll be dying back soon, but the biotone is organic and it's supposed to help with root development. So I'm just trying to help them along. Now I had to go get my half moon edger because again, I had originally started digging out about 4 feet by 4 feet, which is a really hard circle angle in the front yard, and that's not what I wanted. I usually like a clean edge, and that's not going to be as much of the case here, especially since I wasn't able to mulch. But I'm just softening that curve a bit so it's aesthetically more pleasing than just that hard circle. I tried to find mulch. Shockingly, I went to my local Home Depot and their site said they had 1,100 bags, and I couldn't find any of the black mulch, which is what I like to use, the black shredded wood mulch. So I'm just still digging for a hard edge, and then I guess once we get farther towards the end of the season, they'll have the mulch out again and I can replace it. But just cleaning up here. So this actually took me a couple of days. I'm putting the lamps back because a wicked storm was coming in, like it was getting dark. So I just wanted to clean up and have the yard looking nice before I went in for the night. So that's what I'm doing here, just putting the lights back. And I don't know if you can tell how dark it's gotten because I didn't really show you before, but yeah, it's getting pretty dark. So here we are at a new day, and in addition to finishing up, my goal is to plant some chrysanthemums I got, which I think will be nice for this time of year, especially as we're starting to get, it's still end of summer, but we're approaching the fall season. So I got some small chrysanthemums to plant around my drift, and these bloom yellow. Chrysanthemums are actually hardy here in Zone 7B, so they will come back. I haven't made a decision regarding whether or not I would want to keep them in the front yard. I guess it'll be a game time decision. I'll see how I feel, because ultimately I would have to cut these back and continue to nurture them. And then just cut them back if I wanted to keep them low, because they can get pretty large. Here I'm just digging down to place these in, and the temperature difference is actually about 15 degrees difference, with really low humidity from what it was when I first came out, which is super nice. But I'm just digging down. I probably should have brought my trowel, but I had my large shovel, so I'm just digging down to plant the chrysanthemums in. It just makes me really happy to have a nice clean yard. Like, I work from home, so it's not like coming home from work or anything like that you just see it, but it just brings me so much peace to work in the yard. And even though it can be hard, dirty work, because you can see, again, I do not have on gloves. I like to feel the soil in my hands. And in this case, on this day, I was putting down the compost and humus mixture because I wanted to put down leaf grow, but they didn't have any at the Home Depot, even though it said they had over 200 bags. So I don't know what was going on with them, but they didn't have the things that I needed. So I placed the chrysanthemums that I had, and that's what I'm doing right now. It's just digging and planting them in, and then adding the compost mixture. And y'all, I'm just trying to clean as I go because if I wait until the very, very end to clean, it may or may not happen. I don't know if if I'm the only one who's like that, but I cannot at the end of doing all this work look at like a huge bunch of trash and then know I have to pick it up. I don't want to do that. I'm just cutting off some of the blooms from the hosta and from the heuchera. The heuchera will put out small sprays of flowers as well. And I'm just cutting those back so it can just be a nice tidy look. And now I'm adding in the rest of the compost and humus mixture because I just got a small bag. So I'm not saving any of it. I'm putting all of it in the ground, which is great for my plants. Also super great for my soil. So now I'm just going to water it in. It's looking pretty good. I love the dark compost mixture. I probably should have gotten a little more. And I'm looking forward to when I can actually put mulch down. It's going to really finish the look of this and make a really pretty picture. But I'm just watering these things in now. And then I am also going to spray something called Critter Ritter, which is basically essential oils and such. But I do not want the deer to eat my hostas. We don't have long left in the season, but I feel like I live in wild America. So if you don't do something to prevent the deer from eating your plants, the deer are going to eat these plants. They love hosta. Hosta is like candy for deer. So got to do something. And then you can see on the right there, well, you'll probably have a better view here, that it just needs 2 more little plants on the side so it doesn't look completely unfinished. But I think this is really pretty. I think it came out nice. I'm pleased with it. That's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next week.